girl.
It has been the most amazing, amazing time for me. And
It has.
really saddened, and I mean that in every ounce of my being, as to why we got here and how we got here. And I truly have been, this thing didn't become real for me until I personally experienced family members. And I want to give a shout out to Marie Stovall and her family and her loss, and other friends that I know who have lost loved ones or even experienced in this moment, but for sake of their privacy, I won't say their names, that their parents are struggling with this coronavirus. So it's a real thing, people. Let's not tiptoe around that and make it be something that it's not. It's real.
It is. Agreed. I agree.
But at the same time, I think that it has opened up some doors for us if we as a people will decide to walk through them boldly, with integrity, with pride and confidence. There's nothing that we can't do.
No, it's definitely shined a light on so many things. Like you said, it is so real. I have a friend who lost her mother to coronavirus within a matter of days. So it's very, very real. With all of the bad that we've experienced because of it, it's also interesting to me how it's shining a lot of light on the good things that we need to pay more attention to, the good things that have always been overshadowed just by life itself. So it's like a real halt, like, just really put a real halt on life and make you kind of sit back and spend time with family and think about things and have a little siesta, take a little nap time, regroup.
Oh my God.
Some much needed of that. And I do recognize that I'm blessed. I have a yard I can go in. I can social distance in my home. I can find space alone, and not everybody can do that. And I think that
for that, because we're so easy to be judgmental.
Exactly. And we're so easy to make light of it, but forgetting that easy for me to say, because it's hit me in a totally different way than it has hit some people.
Exactly.
So we have to be more empathetic at this time. We have to definitely be more empathetic. So I think that's important. People need to recognize that and just come together as one, have each other's back, do a little more, all the things that we should have been doing.
Right.
We're noticing now.
Right. And now taking more advantage, and really, I know from my perspective, my role has changed so differently, and what I valued before is just not, it doesn't have any great value.
It doesn't.
Laughing with you for 2.5 hours. Yesterday, what you drinking, water?
I'm drinking wine.
Dang. I'm drinking water. But confessions, I had a glass of wine before. So.
I have not had wine. I've been busy all day and I have not even eaten hardly, but I'm having wine, and I did have water, nothing but water all day.
Okay. So I'm going to back up a second, because we kind of into everything, you guys, because that's how a sister and a sister flow. You know what I mean? We're just in the moment. You guys get an opportunity just to sit in the living room of whom I consider, oh my God, this queen that I'm bringing to you is everything. But you know the beauty, Michelle, and I think about this often, doing what I do right now. The greatest gift for me is that as a people, and especially women of color, we just don't get our just due. And I've been able to create a platform where I get to showcase the most amazing women. And my love, just like my heart gets bigger and bigger when I sit here with you, and I know, and you know that you know,
right?
That's the best feeling in the world. It's the best feeling in the world. Mm-hmm. Thank you. Yes. So let me do some little bit of housekeeping. So first of all, most of you know me, and then those of you don't, I'm Cheryl Grant, and I'm with Cheryl Grant Enterprise. Cheryl Grant Enterprise is really all about building up our community. I am about creating a space for us in which we get to shine. We don't need anybody's permission to do what we do. We need to, matter of fact, stop asking for it and be about it. And I want to be a representation of what I speak to you. So when you see me post and you see me walk, just know that I truly truly am, and especially right now during Corona, walking the talk, not just talking the talk. We're about creating platforms for entrepreneurs, giving you a space in which you can not only shine, but we can create an opportunity for us to do revenue sharing. We're looking about how do we collaborate as a community as one and come together as one to start really reshaping the new world we're about to enter into. I say to you each week, and I'm going to continue to say to you even again today, my role model, if you don't get it by now, you'll soon get it, is Harriet Tubman. I love her with every ounce of my being, because unlike Corona, we can't see it, we can't smell it, we can't taste it until it's too late. And with her skin color, there's nowhere that she could go without showing who she was in a time, unfortunately, even in times like this, where we are predatored. People are going after us just because the color of our skin. She didn't even cross the city. She didn't cross not only a city, but she crossed country. She crossed state lines to get to freedom. And one of the things that I look at when she did that is that capitalism, and that's what I consider the old world to be, if she would have just freed herself, that would have been capitalism. She just thought about self. Nobody else mattered. It would have been greed. I got it. You didn't. But that wasn't her heart and spirit. She went back and risked her life for 300 more. And she said, I would have saved 1,000 only if they had known that they were slaves. And to me, that's the new world order that we're going into. And that's a platform that Cheryl Grant is about, creating community. Community is the new cultural currency. And she showed us back then, and it's really sad that we have to let history be our teacher. But please do take notes right now and make them work for you exponentially. Don't wait. We don't have time to wait. And so I just want to say that, didn't mean to be heavy, but it really is where my heart is. We're about community. We're about collaboration. We're about uplifting each other by any means necessary so that we can co-collaborate into a future together. Today, I'm bringing to you a queen. I'm bringing to you somebody who has not only graced the entrepreneurial spirit, but she represents everything that it's about. And when you talk about pivoting, of which we have to do right now, it's not about getting stuck about, oh my God, what's happening to me? It's about talking right now about what we about to do about it. Who are you? Who are you going to come out of this? Are you going to come out bitter or better? Mm-hmm. What choice you going to make? I'm determined to be better, and I'm determined to grab as many queens as I can along the way, because I know together we always shine brighter. And this queen right here, this one right here, from the day that I met her, I fell in love with her. And I know y'all hear me say that about all my queens, but they all special to me in their own way. And trust and believe we have our own connection. And for every event I've ever had, this queen right here, she showed up to support me. She showed up to give me love. And you don't understand, when people show up, especially when it's your community, there's just no words to describe. Michele is not only the previous owner of Gussie's, and I know she has some corrections for me for some things that I have put out there. So just, I'm human, and sometimes I get a story right, but we're not going to go into all the details. The bottom line is, however the story goes, she took something where she had to take a risk to go build something. She had to take a risk. She had to take a chance to go believe in something, only for something to maybe turn out, maybe not the way that she thought, and then pivot again to create a new reality, and pivot again to create a new reality. She is an author. She is a mother. She is a wife. I know that was a long introduction, but y'all, this is the queen. I got to give her justice. Please do, wherever you are. Wherever you are, I don't give a dang. Stand up and give my queen a round of applause. Michele, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me on your show.
Yes.
It's wonderful. I'm so glad to see you doing this. I think it's so necessary and needed. And you really speak the truth when it comes to talking about community, and not just women, but the Black community as a whole, us coming together. And if it wasn't evident before, it's definitely evident now. It does make me happy to see people coming out to support Black businesses in this time of need. I do, including myself, wish that we had done more of that. I've learned about more Black-owned businesses in Oakland now than some I ever knew existed. So but nonetheless, how I got the knowledge, now I'm just glad to have the knowledge.
Yes.
So I'm not going to look back. Now I'm just glad to have the knowledge. And then what do I do with it? Where do I spend that? Even coming out of, COVID, we're going to need to pay attention to where we spend our dollars.
Oh, wait. Okay, she just said a whole lot right there. Okay, first of all, if I didn't tell you before, my platform is about taking notes. It's not just coming to look and see. Learn something. Take something with you. Now, she just said now more than ever, we need to start paying attention to where we spend our money. Take notes. Don't take that lightly. We have power. There's power in our wallet. Do not forget that. Michelle, I'm sorry. I just had to.
Yeah, no, there is for sure. And there are some businesses, like I said, that I've learned of that I was like, oh, I didn't know that existed. And it's close to me. It's in a familiar neighborhood. And I was like, oh, I'm going to start going there. Okay, I learned about a Black-owned beauty supply store that I was not familiar with.
Black-owned beauty supply store where?
Yeah, I learned it on the Black Bay area that I'm sure most of us follow, and if you don't, you should. I also had the pleasure of meeting the young woman who started the Black Bay area, and her story is a story in itself. She happened to be seeking out some seed money, and I happened to be on a panel of judges selected to present and then select these people to receive the money. This was through Odyssey Media a couple years ago. And I was impressed with her presentation and her pitch. And she was one of the people I selected, as did the other panelists. So I had the pleasure of meeting her and watch her, her business grow. I watched it grow, and I think she does a wonderful job with it. Anyway, so she is very good about putting a lot of information out that we as a Black community need to know. And in one of her posts, I learned about a Black woman who owns a beauty supply store on like East 18th and 5th, right by the lake. And I didn't know about that before. And I'm forever going to, beauty supply stores owned by other folks, which is not taking anything away from the entrepreneur, regardless of race. But it is important to, to support what other people may not support simply because it's Black owned.
Absolutely.
So being a Black owned entrepreneur, you open with doubt, and I don't mean self-doubt. I mean people doubting you, your product, your professionalism, your, all of that. So it's like going into corporate America, just the same. You have to prove yourself. You have to prove yourself. Of course, there's much risk in that.
Yes, there is. Absolutely.
Yes. So I'm going to have to go to that beauty supply store so I can dye my hair.
Girl, look, now I'm going to need to go I need a manicure, I need a pedicure, I need a whole bunch of stuff. So thank you for it. I'm going to be the one to definitely join you in that. And I really am of the mindset of right now, we need to be very cognizant, because if people aren't going to value us, then we got to start valuing ourselves.
That's right.
Value starts internally, how you value you. So before you go spend your money with a brand, make sure that they believe in you and the community that you live in. Well, and if you're not, then you need to rethink about how you're investing your dollars. And I say that on a whole, because
that's right. It's easy to go to the big stores because it's convenience and things become habit.
Right.
So that's what we do. And forget about the little stores. So, and sometimes the little stores are more expensive because they don't get the deals that the big store gets. But every big store started out as a little store.
Thank you.
So you gotta, you know what I mean?
But we have some major designers. We have some major.
No, we do.
They're not only jewelry designers. We have makeup artists. We have people with their own makeup line. We have other people that we can support in terms of any of that. So I 100% agree with that. And I just want to remind the audience, as we are talking, please do chime in. This is meant to be interactive. This is meant for you to get as much as we're going to be giving to you. And already you can see we came ready to prepare. We don't care about how long it took us. Like I tell you, it's the timing and that we're here. And Michelle, I'm going to wind that back because everything you're talking about is about supporting. And I want to ask you a couple of questions. So first of all, being the owner, first of all, I'm gonna ask you a two-part question because in case I forget, because my mind, I be moving, I might forget, and I want to make sure that I don't. So this is my two-part question. The first one is, how did you get inspired to even open up Gussie's, number one? And did we as a community truly support you? And if we, I guess I got a third part. And if we didn't, how could we have done it better? That's it.
So to your question, do you want Gussie's or do you want restaurant from jump, from the beginning?
Restaurant from jump. Let's bring it back old school, boo. Let's bring it back.
Because it's interesting. I actually run into people who don't know me and will tell me all kinds of stories about me not knowing me. And I just sit there and listen, and their stories are all wrong. And girl, yes. Yes, I have heard some stories and I'm just listening like, oh yeah, this and that. And I'm like, oh really? Wow. And I'm thinking, y'all have no idea.
Yes, none. We should stay in our own lane, y'all. Let's tell our story. But anyway, go on, Michelle. I'm sorry.
Right, let's learn to ask questions and listen. And then you'll get proper answers, right?
Right.
So for those who don't know, yes, I went to Howard University and I was on my way to law school. I was put in applications. I'd taken the LSAT and all of that stuff, put in my applications for law school. And that's when I met my ex-husband who was opening up Roscoe's here in Oakland, the very first one. So I ditched law school to do that with him. And he was doing that with his partner, Julian, at the time. So I did that with him, and my mom, super pissed off. I was supposed to be on my way to law school, and she had paid for all this schooling. And so long story short, we opened, and then he stopped his partnership with his friend, and he and I opened on Broadway. Actually, there's a big apartment complex there now.
Wow.
And yeah, we were there. We were, and I challenge anybody to tell me any differently, girl, got the paperwork. We were there. We were the first people.
Let's talk.
Right. I'm very big on being honest because I really have nothing to hide and no reason to benefit from anything else but being honest. So we were the first people to sell chicken and waffles in the Bay Area.
What, the first?
The first. Nobody else was doing it. Nobody else.
Wow. Are you serious?
Nobody else did it. Then came Mary Bakery. Then came Chris's spot, Lois the Pie Queen. Everybody came after that. So, I mean, it's kind of cool, and that obviously was via the Roscoe's franchise. It was a legit franchise. There's a lot of history with that too.
Right.
Anybody can ask me anything. You can DM me, message me, whatever. I will answer your questions. Anyway, so that's how I got into the business. And that's how I grew a love for the business and never went to culinary school. I learned a lot from many chefs that I worked with, many line cooks that I worked with, classes I took from chefs that I, just totally appreciated and looked up to. So, when my ex-husband and I divorced, I started catering. And then I moved forward into Gussie's, named after my grandmother. Gussie is my grandmother. Mm-hmm. And I love the business with all its ups and downs. I have people tell me all the time, why do you want to go back into the business? Why do you want to go back to the business? It's what I love. It's what I thrive. I thrive off of that. Yes, it's difficult. It's the most difficult thing I've ever done. Right. But it's what drives me, cooking, for sure. The ability to please somebody, the ability to see that pleasure when you take a bite is really, I think, what pleases most chefs at our core. I don't do it to please myself. If I had to be a chef and only cook for myself, there would be no pleasure in that. Right. But to see the pleasure and the happiness that it gets, the love that comes through my hands into the food and into your mouth is what really makes me really happy. Right. So when I opened up Gussie's, I've been through lots of ups and downs, lots of transitions. I've been supported by very close friends, family. I've been blessed to never have to get a loan. I'm a hustler at heart. Yeah. So everything is, I am from Oakland, so we all know how to grind. We all know how to, how to rise and grind. So
exactly.
Tough one. but yeah, I'm blessed to say that. And it's always a learning process. I've made a shit ton of mistakes. I'm continuing to make mistakes. I'm continuing to learn from those mistakes. One thing I try to not do and hope I've never done, I don't burn bridges.
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer in that. I try not to burn bridges.
Did
And
y'all
I
hear that?
value,
Don't burn
yes.
bridges. You never know when you might need to.
And you never know who. So, and never judge someone by what you think they are and what you think you may need or not need them for now or later. I have had people that, I'm telling you, people that have worked for me go on to do wonderful things. And when you just don't know. So that's, I'm a huge proponent of that. But yeah, I felt supported. I've always felt very supported in the cities in which I've done business. I got a lot of support when I was in San Francisco. Right. Seeing as though I'm not from San Francisco, I had never had a business in San Francisco. I have long-lasting relationships that I have built and nurtured over those years. People I still keep in touch with, people that still call upon me. Yes. So that means a lot to me. To the people from the East Bay and from Oakland that came to see me there, that means a lot to me. So I've been blessed. I don't necessarily believe in luck, but I've been blessed to definitely feel supported by the communities.
Well, oh my God. So you know what, legend, and I do consider you that, Michele.
That's sweet.
Sustained through some very interesting times and in the face of adversity. And I think as entrepreneurs, that's kind of what we sign up for. I mean, you know, there's no guarantees in anything that we do, even working for corporate. I think now more than anything, there's such joy in being an entrepreneur. And even if you do, I think that is very smart that we start to think about different streams of revenue. You need more than just one. And I'm not even talking about just your investments. Yeah, that's very important too. And I think also your job, if you have one, that's important too. But your hustle and your hustle and your hustle is also important in terms of being able to sustain during this time. And one of the things I want to encourage people, and I think you're just a product of, Michele, is that right now we look at the world, it's so easy to go like, oh my God, Michele, it's so hard. It's easy. I can't even look at the news. Girl, I haven't looked at the news in a month. And the other day I watched it for 2 minutes and everything in my being just got so saddened. And if you look at the statistics and when are we going to reopen and what is it going to look like and how am I going to pay my bills? I think that that's where we can't, I think that's a distraction, quite frankly. Not that I don't think you need to be paying attention to it, but you know, as an entrepreneur, you know what? It takes grit and it takes gut. And you got to be about your business and you got to be about who you know you are, not who people want to tell you who you are. Am I not right, Michele? If I've spoke something wrong as an entrepreneur, please.
No, you are right. I mean, and being an entrepreneur, honestly, it takes so many things. And part of it's a very interesting path in your life, if that's what you choose to do. Tenacity, perseverance, I mean, all of that plays such a big part in it, you know? Right. And I do think that some people are born to be entrepreneurs, serial entrepreneurs. I know some people like that no matter what. I mean, I know people that have had whatever, a fast food restaurant, and then they've had, you know, car dealerships, and then they've had, you know, businesses that, you know, clean planes, whatever it is, okay? I mean, just all over the place, serial entrepreneurs.
Right.
And then there are people who are not born to be entrepreneurs. And I think that's okay. Right. Obviously, you know, we all have to play our part. We play a role and they're equally as valuable because we all need each other, you know? But it's tough. It takes a lot of grit. It does. It takes a lot of grit. And I try to tell people because let me tell you something. It's very easy to get discouraged.
Right, it is.
It's very easy to get discouraged. I have had highs and I've had some serious lows. I've come up, I've had to start over. It's always that for me. And I'm still shooting for marathoning this thing out till I get to the point where I've reached the level that I'm talented enough to be at where I want to be without this, you know, kind of up and down thing. Right. And I don't mean COVID, because that's an up and down thing nobody could ever see coming. But it takes a lot of strength to be an entrepreneur, probably more than what people know, because most people, I get a lot of, well, how come you just don't do this? Or how come you just don't do that? Or what's taking this so long? Or what's taking that so long? And I was raised to, speak with kindness over my chef years that dwindles and dwindles and dwindles down. But I was just telling my husband tonight, and forgive me for lingering, I said, you know what, 2020 has taught me one thing.
Yeah.
In a year and a half, I'll be 50 years old. I consider myself to be
a year and a half. Okay.
Girl, yes, I'm counting it all.
Okay.
In 15 months, look, the countdown is so real. So
it's a beautiful club to be in, Boo.
I heard that, girl. But you know what? I was like, it's 2020, and I consider myself to be logical and literal. I consider myself to have a good amount of common sense in this day and age. And being an entrepreneur, like we said, all the grit you have to take, you get inundated with, forgive me for saying, but stupid comments and dumb questions and stuff people always have to say. And I respect it, because you may not know, but it gets frustrating, but you may not know that you may not know. So moving forward, if anybody listening to this hears me speak very plainly, it is because it is 2020. I am out here hustling. I'm about to be 50, and I don't have time to teach if you don't have time to listen. So I'm going to speak. I'm going to say that's my goal for me approaching 50, is just to say exactly what I feel and how I feel it.
It's such a freedom to be able to do that unapologetically.
I had that at 40, but I'm looking forward to more of that.
But let me say this to you. As an entrepreneur, especially in this times, we don't have time for naysayers. So if you don't believe, like they say, you can either look at the glass as being half empty or half full. Either way, you're right. But what I agree with you with is it's not time to argue. This is no longer a debate. We either moving together or we're not. But guess what? It takes too much energy to try to convince you. It takes too much energy. You either want to get your game on and want to be your best player, or you don't. And if you don't, even no judgment against that, but don't hate the player, hate the game.
Well, every successful entrepreneur has failed at multiple ventures. So a lot of the people that non-entrepreneurs may look up to, that person has failed at so many businesses prior to that business that we see, that successful business that we see them having now. So, and like you said, there's so many naysayers out there. When I went to open up Gussie's in San Francisco, I had so many people tell me not to do it. I had so many people tell me not to do chicken and waffles. And I mean close family members, you know what I mean? So many, my mother, my husband, I had so many people tell me not to do it. And then they, of course, become my biggest supporters. But if you continuously don't follow your gut and you listen to people, there are times when you have to listen, but you also have to know what is in your heart and what's in your gut. If it does not work, that is not necessarily a failure. You have learned what doesn't work, and you have learned something from that, and you keep pushing, you keep reinventing that thing, okay, until it works the way you want it to work.
Exactly. And it's just, like they say, a no is not a no, it's just a no until next time.
Exactly. It's just a no until somebody else says yes.
Yes, exactly. And that's the kind of grit we have to have in 2020. It's not about looking at life like God never gave me any crystal stairways. There's some grinding you're going to have to do. There's some crawling you're going to have to do. Maybe sometimes you'll run. Maybe sometimes you won't, but it's about your ability. And I call it being mentally fit. Faith, intuition, and tenacity. Faith, believing in something as though it is, even though it is not. Intuition, trusting yourself. Like right now, speak into your life. This is not a desolate time. This is the best time of your life. Then have tenacity to move forward with something. But whatever you do, don't sit still. Whatever you do, don't sit on your loins. If your days have been spent, for me, and the last day, no judgment, You got to do you. But for those of you who are hungry, let me speak to you. You got to take action. Just speaking about it is not enough. If you still going to the refrigerator every day and you want to lose 10 pounds, well, you know, I don't even got to do that math for you. You kind of can figure that one out for yourself.
I'm still trying to figure that one out, but yes, no, I'm kidding.
Same thing about your finances. If you're not trying to figure ways to get smarter and more savvier to use this money that you're getting, the stimulus money, to work for you, then not. So we've been talking, but Michele, I want to ask some of our participants. So hold on just 2 seconds. First of all, my queen and my sister, Linnell Bevis Cotton, just said, please shout out that the COVID-19 Resiliency Relief Fund is being launched by the scratch that, you guys, being launched by the Oakland African American Chamber of Commerce. And I said the National Coalition because my fearless leader, Kathy Adams, is killing the game. And my chairperson, Shonda. And I want to give them both out, Shonda Scott out, give them a shout out. But they are putting together a resiliency fund, $1 million fund, y'all, to help support us. So when you talk about the community coming together, that's what I call leadership. And that's where we all have to step up. But hold on a minute. We can't expect them to do it if you're not willing to do your part. As a business owner, I have this platform where you can learn from people like Michele. I brought on people like Mari, who's talked about cash flow. I brought on Michele, G. If you're not taking advantage of all the workshops out there to build your game up, then shame on you. Because the opportunity, you don't even got to wait for this. All you got to do is Google it. So while you spending time on social media, take some time for you to get some investment in your own mental stability. I'm just saying that's all a part of being fit. So Michele, that was one of the questions. I'm going to go back through here. Sharon Lack says, Michele, you are a great chef. Aww. And your food is so yummy. And yes, it takes a lot to be an entrepreneur.
Thank you, Sharon.
Chicken and waffle at Gussie's were the best. Thank you, Sharon.
Sharon has ordered food from me during my meal prep the last couple of weeks. So I'm really, people like that, comments like that are why I do what I do.
Right.
You know, it means a lot to me, you know, and I'm not perfect. There are some meals that I make that I'm like, yeah, not really, you know what I mean? And I don't, you know, I'm not 100%, but I aim to be, you know, so thank you, Sharon.
Right. But when we talk about that, you guys, please do ask Michele questions, because one of my biggest things to her is that we're all pivoting. The world's pivoting. Y'all understand that. It's not just us. They're trying to figure it out. And we are one of the hottest demographics that they need to be tapping into. Please join me on my town hall that I will be hosting, 2 of them. We're going to be doing them every quarter. I am bringing to the table some phenomenal leaders to have a discussion. Michele, please join in too, where we can come together as a community and talk about ideas about how to move forward together. And I think that the leaders that I'm bringing forward to host this panel are some amazing individuals like Regina Jackson and like Michele G, who is the SVP for BET Her. I have Kathy Adams, our very own, who is the CEO for the Oakland Chamber. But I also have a male panel with some phenomenal speakers on that. Antonio Davis. I have Devin George, 3-time NBA player. We're bringing some conversations together for you. So join in. Again, the tools are coming to you. What are you going to do with them? And like my sister here, one of the things I want to speak about is pivoting. And Michele, how are you pivoting right now? Because you're doing amazing.
You know, when this whole shelter in place came about, I think it started and it was all very surreal for us. You know, we were all just kind of like, oh, this, you know, the coronavirus came about, COVID-19, it was horrible. And I don't know if we really could see the shelter in place coming. And then it came. And I don't think anybody quite knew what that meant, you know, or what it was going to mean for us in our lives, work or long-term or what, anything like that.
Right.
In the beginning, I think in some ways it was, you know, like a vacation, like a paid for vacation. Oh, we get some time off and I'm going to work this week, whatever. But for me, and as an entrepreneur, it came like a car wreck.
Right.
So within, you know, 24 hours, I had many major events in San Francisco canceled when London shut down the, no events over 1,000 people. I had a lot of, I do a lot of concert catering. So I had a lot of events canceled. Now I think London's done an outstanding job. Like,
me too, like in the world. Like she has led the pack. I have to love.
Yeah, she's killing it because
I agree.
From jump, she acted immediately. She did not hesitate. She made smart decisions. She made a decision, which a lot of people are afraid to do, and she moved on it. But so when that happened, a lot of my events came to a screeching halt. So within 24 hours or 48 hours of that, lo and behold, Oakland had to do the same.
Right.
They followed in her footsteps and did the same, So, I mean, I want to say that was like on a Wednesday, maybe a Tuesday, but I think more like a Wednesday. And I had an event booked for like 300 people that Saturday. So, and done. And, a couple of concerts the following weekend. I think I had like 3 concerts booked, and done. So everything, weddings canceled, graduation season is big for caterers, canceled, so all of that happened. So like I said, like a few people, I was at home and I was kind of chilling.
Right.
I was cleaning my pantry and I'm gonna do my spice cabinet next, and I'm folded and organized all my drawers, and I had a couple projects left. And then I was like, okay, so, well, I still didn't get to my spice pantry. Let me not over exaggerate. So I had to decide what was I gonna do. And I had a girlfriend of mine in New York suggest meal prepping. And I've had many people for a long time ask me to do it because it's something that I've always done for my family. Because I'm so busy, and I don't often have time to make dinner on a regular basis. I want my family to eat well.
Right.
We all have different schedules. So I would do that for my family. I would make like 3 different meals a week, and I package them up in individual containers and let them eat out of them. I noticed that when I would meal prep, my family would actually eat the meals. I try to make them all very different.
Right.
When they were individually packaged. If I made large quantities of vegetables and meats and starches, whatnot, something doesn't get eaten and I'm throwing out a lot of food all week.
Right.
So there's something about the convenience of the individual entree designed to be taken from the fridge and heated up and eaten, especially when you have choices. So I thought about it, and my girlfriend suggested, and I was like, I don't really know about that. I'm not really sure if I want to do that. I don't really know if it's going to be worth it, whatever, it's tough. But then I was like, you know what, let me give it a shot because it's super helpful for me. And I bet right now, it's probably going to be really helpful for other people too.
It is. Because you don't want to go out and go shopping. I don't want to go. The grocery store becomes a headache for me. Like, just thinking through the whole process about
it's a lot.
Home, and I gotta wash my hands, and just something touch me, and it's a lot. It's a lot.
It's a lot. And for all of you, please know this: anybody, any caterer that you are buying food from right now, Kenny Wynn, Leilani, Rain at Red Door, whomever.
Rain is on here too. Rain is on here.
Not leaving anybody out. It is hard what we are doing right now. It is harder than regular catering season. Going to these stores that now were solely for restaurants, now opened up to the public. Now there's lines. They can only let so many people in at a time. So, or even the stuff that you want to order from your delivery people, either is not in stock, they're not stocking as much. The price of beef has gone up astronomically. So just trying to get products to provide all of our wonderful clientele that we truly love and are so grateful for their support, it's so difficult. And trying to
get hella hard.
Oh my God, so hard. And trying to keep it is hella hard, and trying to keep a creative menu to keep you guys interested. It's really difficult. I just want to give a major shout out to all Chef Lala, to Rain, to Leilani, to Kenny, to Roderick's, to Smoking Woods. I mean, to Salt and Fire, to Chef Smelly, like, for straight up. I know how hard it is. I just want you guys to know how hard it is. And I want you to know how grateful we are and how much we appreciate it. Thank you. I can't say thank you enough to the people that buy from me on a regular basis, the people that try me 1 time, 2 times, whatever it is, spread the love. I am so grateful. And I want that to be known. But so that's where my pivot.
Right, but I love the pivot that you made. That's the kind of thing that we all have to do. We have to understand is that, you know, they said there's a saying, and I sometimes can mess a saying up, so y'all have to apologize in advance, but it's like a stick. You know, if you are flexible, you can always bend and move with the flow of life. The moment that you become just so rigid that you won't bend, you'll break. So we have to understand we're in a different time that requires us to do different things. And it's not to look up on an idea, just like even I've had friends who got part-time jobs right now.
Right.
Thank God if you didn't have to do that. And I'm not mad at you if you did have to do it. I know people who are going out doing Instacart business and making, I met this young girl, a millennial, and she's literally making like $2,500 a week. I'm like, how are you making 25? But that's her
doing Instacart
job, and she's doing things, and she's investing her money. Smart girl. So you do what you got to do, especially in times like this. And the one thing I say to be careful to everybody, let's not judge. What I say is, as I've already said, the new cultural currency is called community. It's like I've seen the chamber and I've seen my fearless leader, Kathy, and I will give her applause all day long because I physically see the work that she does in going out to make sure that our businesses are done. I see the work that we're doing as a chamber in terms of leadership, putting this resiliency fund together for you.
Yes, for sure.
Access. Not only that, if you go to the website, you can find out how to get loans. Even if you don't want one, you can find out what grants are available. And there is money out there. Just to say whether we'll get it or not, apply anyway. In addition to doing the other things that you're doing. I asked you to start to also look at alternate ways you can make money. Look at a home-based business. 1, 2, or 3. It's a great tax write-off. Talk to your tax accountant. It's a beautiful thing to do. But just like Michelle is pivoting, we all have to pivot. Tamiko Gardner just said, that's my baby. That's the vegan queen. I love her. I totally appreciate all of the chefs and hard work right now. Absolutely, you guys. We really do appreciate you, and we are thankful for you. And just like we're thankful for you, you know, I want to say that I think the restaurant, there's certain businesses that I know, especially the hairstylist salons and the first service of the nail salons, as well as some of the other, you know, immediate service businesses that are out there are suffering. And there's people who do coaching. There's people like me that are still entrepreneurs. You're still out here doing your game. So we all suffer at different levels. But our thing to me as a community is how we rally behind. It doesn't matter because if Michelle wins, I automatically win. If Rain wins, I win. If Kathy wins, I win. Like there's no you win and I lose.
And one thing I think it's pretty dope actually how I've had my ups and downs with certain chefs that I've met over the years in business. And some not so cool, you know, and that's okay. But I think it's pretty cool that the network of the chefs and caterers that like during this time and even prior to this, who've always been very supportive of each other, you know, and the ones that I know, you know, and that's why I try to, you know, support them and recommend them, even though I do the same thing. It doesn't mean, you know, people have to understand. I've had people, I feel like not, I've met people over time in the same business as me, maybe not been too fond of building a relationship with me because we do similar things or similar food style.
Right.
But here's what I say to that.
Thank you. Please do say something.
Neiman's is across the street from Saks, okay? And Macy's is next door to Nordstrom's, and McDonald's is across the street from Burger King. So we all need each other to survive. Nobody's gonna survive on a lonely street by themselves. So I just say that, you know, I mean, when I text Rain for a recommendation for something, whether it be a balloon person or whatever, she hits me back with one right away. If I ask Kenny Wynn for something or whatever, or he asks me, I hit him back right away. You know what I mean? When I run into Chef Smelly in the store and we chop it out about the ups and downs or whatever, that's what I'm talking about. That's the community that you're talking about building. that's a community that I respect and appreciate from the people in my industry that I know that I may not even know that well, but we know each other just because we do the same shit. You know what I'm saying? And there's something to that. So
no, thank you for saying that, because I just said that we have left an old way of being, and whether people want to acknowledge it or not, we're in the digital age. We're here.
Right.
You see, this is digital. If you don't know technology, get to know it. And
right.
It's not about being resistant. You're either going to move with the flow or you get left behind. But here is make it work for you versus to your disadvantage.
I'm going to be left behind in the beginning, but then I'm going to catch up.
No, but you're already catching up. We got this. And then a part of it you're already doing.
I'm good at it.
I tell you, you're doing it right now, because when you pivoted and you start putting your meals on to Facebook and I start seeing them, I was really disappointed because I wanted all of them. And right now I'm trying to be good. And it's like Michelle's really messing with me today because she knows she shouldn't have put that on today, glazed chicken with the, or, shrimp in this with the,
right.
I'm like, I'm trying to eat lettuce and tomatoes, boo. Can you work with me?
Okay.
But I want y'all to know she decided.
When I put a salad on there, I sold 9 salads. Ain't gonna be no more salads. People obviously don't come to me for salad. I sold 9 salads.
But let me tell you something, there is not a good salad place anywhere. No, I mean, that's really like that for me, because that's.
And I like a good salad though sometimes.
I don't know where I can go get a good salad.
I know, girl. Right now, I honestly, I don't know. I mean.
But here goes the thing. One of the things you were talking about, this is our future. When she talked about working in collaboration, the more we can sit down as a community, like all the chefs come together and really have a conversation. And this is what the town halls I'm hoping to accomplish. Like all the chefs come together and rethink how you're doing business together. Like really rethink outside the box and how you can support each other to a new paradigm of being in the digital world. Right. How can all event planners come together, start to say, well, wait a minute, it's digital. Cheryl still needs some digital stuff. How can we do that? You know what I mean? Together.
Well, let me say this, because this is one person I did not mention. Chef Mimi does an excellent job with that. And she's always been straight up since day one when we met.
Mimi?
Yes, many years ago when we met, and we both talked about some of the similar issues we faced with different people in the industry. And, she does a good job, I think, of showcasing, a lot of Black chefs in there. So I want to definitely get my shout outs in, so she's done some pretty dope things that I really
have her on. Actually, that's my girl.
Yeah, she's super cool. I love her too.
I had her on last week. So you guys, I'm just like, first of all, I want to let you know that we started a little late, but even with that, we're now really up on an hour. And this time flies so fast. Michele, you said so much, but if you could leave the audience with one recommendation on this journey that we're on.
Just one. I'm so long-winded. If I could
don't matter. Take your time with it. I don't care.
With one recommendation.
I got a queen in front of me. I got a legend, boo. Take your time.
Something I'm trying to do myself.
Okay.
I'm trying to learn to look within and truly get to know who I am, my talents, my strengths, my weaknesses, okay? What is there for me, what I may put in my own way, and trying to get past that. I'm trying to learn to develop patience.
Yes.
I'm very impatient. I was not like this in college. I swear I didn't curse this much. I was not so impatient. Now my mouth is like, I've done well. I think I've only cursed like 3 times during this whole thing. I've done very well because I curse so much. I'm trying to develop patience and deep breathing exercise.
Okay, I do too. I'm gonna admit, I do got a potty, but I'm working on it.
I embarrass my husband. Girl, I embarrass him so much. But I think if possible, to take this time.
Yes.
To look within and be honest with yourself about who you are and who you want to be.
Right.
And we have to let go of fear. Sometimes I think that there's some level of fear within me that I have not spoken to, that I need to reach out to. and work through and push harder, because I have so many ideas. So many ideas. I just, but it's hard to get them into focus and actually, stay persistent and keep moving forward and get past those barriers. So if during this time we can take the time to do that and to feel comfortable reaching out to your community, because now most of your people have time.
Yes.
Or have a little more time.
Yes, exactly.
I'm hella busy and tired, but I still have time, So
I haven't watched TV, and I find that I get up every morning at 4 o'clock, and I'm always rushing to get to bed between 12, 11, 12.
Right.
It's like, it just is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, I still need to put my next week's menu out. I'm gonna have to do that when I get off the phone. Y'all might have to get that in the morning. I'm tired. but so that's what I encourage everybody to do during this time. And spend some time with that. I'm trying to teach myself to get on a schedule. I have not been on a schedule these last 8 weeks, and I need to get on a schedule. And part of that schedule also means putting my phone down, getting off of social media, getting off the internet, stop looking at recipes, stop writing recipes, stop forecasting, stop running numbers, all of that business stuff that I do all the time, and just kind of zone out and get into myself. Center myself and relax. Whatever that is for you.
Right.
Just so I can do that. Take the time to do that. Because when we come out of this, y'all, we don't know what it's going to be like. We don't know what it's going to take. We don't know if we're going to have to hit the ground running or what's in store for us. So
as long as we're together, we'll get through it.
Take the time now to prepare.
Yes.
And look at the things that we thought that a lot of people valued before, and the purses and the labels and the this and the that and all of that. And
you and I have had this conversation.
Look in your closet, look in your bank account, ask yourself, do they match?
Woo! Okay, I'm gonna let that sit right there. Was she talking to me? No. I take it though. Guess what? I receive it all, and everything you said, Michele, is so true, especially right now. Nothing matters more. That's why when you talk about the dollars, and I say to myself, if we as a community truly did take our dollars and spend it with each other.
Right.
And stop trying to convince people to like us.
Exactly.
If you know, that's on you. But what we're gonna do is be our bodacious self and go live the life. And we're such a loving people. We're such amazing people. We're such a giving people. But it's time for us to pivot, and it's time for us to reclaim what is ours. And the fear you talked about at the gut level, that we've been programmed. There's a lot of programming that
there is.
We have been programmed that we got to do some unprogramming with.
Yes.
In terms of our belief system and how we operate in this world.
Agree.
That we need somebody to help us. We need to help ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And believe in your own value and your own worth of who you are, and to know you are worthy. You're worthy to get the best of the best, not seconds of anything.
That's right.
And now is that time for us to reclaim it. And I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing, and I'm going to do it in the most bodacious way that I can.
That's right.
No apologies for the platform that I'm creating.
That's right.
Matter of fact, it gives me great strength and privilege and pleasure.
That's
but
right.
I can't do it without your support either.
That's
I can't do this alone. And so I really ask you, I have on my website a donation and any contributions you can make so I can continue my work, because I'm committed to it. I'm like,
and tell them the website one more time.
What, baby?
Tell them the website again.
Yes, it's Cheryl Grant, SHERYLGRANT.com. Move Forward is the campaign, and everything I talk about is moving forward. I believe in solutions, not problems. You can never solve a problem. We only have solutions to bring to problems, and I'm about moving forward and not getting stuck in the past. Let's let the past be the past. I'm so glad those doors are closed. I don't know about nobody else, but I didn't think it was all that fancy to begin with. So here it goes. I'm happy with where we are. Now I just want to do more of what we're doing. And I'd like to bring you back, Michele, to break down a workshop, whether you want to do a cooking class with the people.
Yeah, I would love all of that.
For you to come back and do a workshop. I'd also love for Linnell, what did you just put? Sailor, greatest, happiness, 40 ways, relax, 5 minutes. She put some links into this, into the chat that I'm going to share on Facebook, especially how to find peace. So I take it you're a sailor too, huh, Linnell? Okay, I got it. We all are in our own private.
That's right, in our own rights.
We don't have to tell. But I think what has really been said about going within, please take time to do this. You guys, it's not going to be long before those gates open. And right now, more than ever, we need to be ready.
You're going to have to know, get in where you fit in. And you're going to have to know where you fit in.
Yes. And it's
especially us. You know, we're going to have to know that. Because things are going to change. Things are going to change.
They are.
People are going to make changes. So.
Yeah, they are. But the more we stick together, the more I feel like it's like, and when I say stick together, I'm not just talking about I'm talking about in communities like this. If I ask you to join Move Forward, join it. Like really come together. And I'm also talking to other organizations, not just mine, where we can collectively create a voice, one mission, one goal. It's about community, y'all. Community is getting back to the basics. It's not about Louis Vuitton. It's not about Gucci. It's not about any of that. It's about us. It's about your internal happiness. If God hasn't taught you anything else, let's not chase that. And that's not to say that I'm in judgment. If somebody wants to and you can, do you. But I'm really saying at the end of the day, you can't take that bag with you.
Exactly.
You take it with you at the end of the day. You can't. So,
like you said, and there's no judgment for those who can do it.
Yes.
But for those who can't.
Yes, I got one. And this is the last one I'm going to keep. And then I'm going to get rid of this one, okay? Anybody want to buy it? You want to buy it?
Right. For those who can do, but for those who can't, don't do it just to impress somebody else. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying don't do it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying don't do it to impress somebody else and leave yourself short on the other end. That's all.
Yes. Lynelle says she can't stand me. Yes, she can. You know. Anyway, so this is what I want to say. First of all, to everybody who chimed in, please share. This is an opportunity for us to showcase our queens and our kings. And this is an opportunity where we don't need permission to let the world know what an amazing person Michele is. Support her. Michele, what is your website?
It is chefmichele.com. Michele. So Michele with one L.
Let me put this in the chat. Tell me again, Michele.
chefmichele.com.
Chef Michele?
CHEF. MICHELE.com. I think that's right.
Okay, I just put it in because somebody asked me today and
now the new menu will be posted tomorrow morning because I just don't see how because I'm not that tech savvy. It takes me a minute to get all that done. Plus I have 2 more dishes I need to come up with.
Well, and Michele, you're going to start also doing meal prep for us people like me, right? That are
I am. So I do a lighter side, like for this week coming up, I have 2 keto friendly recipes on there. And then I have one that is a little more on the lighter, low fat side, but it has a little brown rice. So, cause not everybody is doing like the keto thing or the light thing. So I try to mix it up until I see what people want, what they're going to want. And if I'm going to go, which route I'm going to go, or if I'm going to go both.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, I want you to know, please do support my queen. Please do support all the other chefs that are out there making a way for us and really, out there, they're grinding and we eat and you're going to eat anyway. So you might as well spend your money with them instead of spending it with somebody else. Make sure that you're reaching out to those sources, whether it be my queen right here or Rain or any of the other chefs that she's mentioned. We are in this as a community. Michele, I really do, Queen. I have nothing but love for you. You are a major inspiration and I want to continue to support you and uplift you in any way that I can. And I definitely want to have you back. And I want to thank everybody who tuned in. Please share this link if you haven't. We'll be bringing these dynamic people back to you. And Michele, we did it.
Yeah, we did it. We did it. We went from Teddy Riley to Babyface. We did it.
Okay, y'all. Okay, this is what I want you to not do. Because Facebook has this whole thing where they really judge you when you put on music. But this is how we're going to end this one. And I just want you guys to know, I love you. But when you're dealing with a queen boss, this is what you're dealing with. This is what you're dealing with. Michele, can you hear that?
I'm trying to hear it.
Okay, good. It's in the back room. They don't need to hear it. I'm a savage with Beyonce. That's it.
Okay. And the dance, you know, I have no rhythm.
You know, it's all good. I love you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody.
Okay, thanks.
Bye.